On behalf of all of us here at the DCPA, welcome to the celebration of Randy Weeks.
What say we put on a show?
I love a piano. I love a piano. I love to hear somebody play upon the piano.
Before the opening performance of I Love a Piano, we were standing, I remember, house right, all the way against the wall at the auditorium. And he said, I don't know what's going to happen with this show. He says, but right now, I could not be happier with where we are. So no matter what happens, let's remember, we got exactly what we wanted to. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. And I'll never forget it, because every show I open, I think about that moment.
Shannan, what did it mean to you as a performer to be able to be on that stage today as part of the tribute for Randy?
I was exceptionally honored to be asked to be a part of that, to sing something that I knew he loved, to join with other people that have experienced the gifts that Randy has brought to this theater community, and to come together to sing something that he loved was extremely, extremely special.
It was such a privilege and honor to be up there today and to revisit a piece that was so near and dear to his heart.
A normal Sunday morning call would go something like this. Hello, darling. What's happening in Denver? Darling, just back from the links. 10 over, and I'm feeling on top of the world.
Randy had generously agreed to join the fantasy football league Johnny was forming, despite not having an in-depth knowledge of the NFL.
How many of you know about his competitive nature? Did you know that he won the 1973 New Hampshire State Championship in the 4x100 meter relay?
He was a role model for me in the day when there were none.
In fact, the last communication I received from him was a reply to a longish text I wrote while he was in London. He sent me 3 words. No worries, Bean.
Is it any wonder they didn't have you go up and give a eulogy?
They do a eulogy. Now,
what would you say? What would your eulogy to Randy Weeks? How would it start?
Remember the crabs?
Church bells chiming on a Sunday morn remind you of
Forever Plaid was the first show Randy produced at the Garner Galleria Theater on the closing night of a very successful run. The Forever Plaid cast sang the song as a gift to Randy.
You're sure to fall in love with old Cape Cod, old Cape Cod.
And so closing night of our 2-year run here, I told him that at the bowling alley, and because that's what we did. And I told him, I said, you're my Cape Cod.
On my wedding day, Randy, my dear friend, was trusted to go pick up the groom. When he got to the apartment that I shared with Bernard, he said to Bernard, I see this could go in one of 2 ways. I can either take you to the church and you can get married, or I've got a tea time set up at the Lakewood Country Club.
Randy's an amazing guy, and we're going to miss him because he was always here with, you know, outstretched arms and a sweater that looked like something out of 1962 Paris Vogue, not even American Vogue, like a Vogue that you probably wouldn't dress that way. You'd look at it and go, what's really that? But he owned it.
Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the number of moments that take our breath away. Although Randy was cheated out of his fair share of breaths, he took our breath away by the power of his friendship, the way he made us feel special, and how he flat out took care of us.
Why was it important for you to come back from Rochester to be here with everybody today?
Because we needed to grieve with our friends.
We need to hug.
Yeah, really, we'd been in Rochester and hadn't gotten to squeeze anybody yet. And
When I opened Never Wear a Tube Top While Riding a Mechanical Bull and 16 other things I learned while I was drinking last Thursday, which he spearheaded. He was the one who said, let's do this show here and do the workshop. When opening night happened, and he said, I'm getting up on the bull. And I said, nothing would make me happier. And he jumped up on the bull in his crustacean-covered slacks, and we got, and the sweater, because that's what you do when you ride a bull. And, you know, and it was hilarious.
Well, we've lost one of the greatest minds in theater. And not only did he bring Broadway to Denver, but he made Denver the first stop for some of the greatest Broadway plays that have left New York.
The Book of Mormon was a show that nobody knew would be as enormous as it turned out to be, and he was there right from the beginning saying, I want to do this show in Denver.
August, Osage County, The Lion King, Revival of the Chorus Line, Peter and the Starcatcher, The Little Mermaid, pre-Broadway, The Book of Mormon, Pippin. Those are the titles of Broadway shows, Broadway tours that were launched and hosted here in Denver by Randy and his staff. And with that came the distinction and national attention to the Denver Center.
So you both have launched national tours in Denver recently, and I'm just going to ask you, why Denver?
Denver likes theater. Denver, and I think that the administration at the DCPA has proven it because there's so much going on here.
Clearly was willing to take a risk here, and he had developed an audience over time that was willing to take risks with him. So that combination of a presenter who's willing to take a risk and an audience and is going to bring an audience with him who's going to take that risk is very rare.
And in fact, the last tour that just opened here at Pippin, they have dedicated their tour to Randy.
The idea was to dedicate the Pippin tour to the memory of Randy Weeks.
The entire national tour.
The entire national tour. This has been the best tour opening experience in my 27 years on the road. And Randy instills that. And just the camaraderie, the professionalism, the wonderful staff.
I would see him several times a year in New York, running into him at shows he was eyeing to bring right here to Denver. In fact, during a very early preview of Kinky Boots on Broadway, Randy ran up to me in intermission and he said, promise me that this show will play Denver. To a producer with a show in previews, that meant the world to me. And Randy, as requested, here we are, playing to packed houses every night. I only hope we do you proud. So ladies and gentlemen, with that in mind, it is my great honor to introduce some cast members of Kinky Boots, led by the incredible Adam Souza, to sing Give My Regards to Broadway.
Give my regards to old Broadway, and say that I'll be there ere long.
I can think of no more appropriate place to celebrate Randy's life than on the stage of a Tony Award-winning musical, Kinky Boots. Thank you so much to Hal Luftig.
In Randy's words, it's all about the fun. We get to have fun every day of our lives, and a really big part of that is because Randy looked at our show and said, okay, yes.
And I thought a lot about what it was exactly that was at the core of his being that made such an impression on me and on other people. And all I could really come to in conclusion was that Randy led with his heart.
Well, the greatest story we have about Randy Weeks is that he signed our show. He picked up the show for the Denver Center without ever seeing it. He went with his heart.
For our last musical number of the day, I would like to welcome to the stage the winner of last year's Bobby G's Colorado's High School Musical Theater Awards for Best Actress, Abby Noble, along with members of the cast of Hairspray from the Denver School of the Arts, collectively to perform One from the chorus line.
One thrilling combination, every move that he makes. One smile and sudden
mean to you and your classmates to be performing on the Buell Theater stage in these circumstances?
When I found out, it's incredible. Both of us saw Kinky Boots last night, and to be on that stage today, we started hyperventilating.
It's been a dream to perform there since I've been 5 years old, and I saw Kathy Rigby and Peter Pan. Like, that was a gift from him himself. So it's fantastic.
Give him your attention. Do I really have to mention he's the
I think, he saw the Denver community as a community that was going to embrace good work no matter what it was.
I love the piano. I love to hear songs.